Borderlands, the newest movie on the big screen. Let's talk about it. Okay, so the newest movie, Borderlands, has now officially come out, and it's had some really bad reviews recently about this movie. So I haven't played the game, so I have no idea of what the games are like. I just know about the games. But I was excited to see this movie because I was like, you know what? Trailers didn't look awful. They didn't look great. But I was like, maybe this is some dumb fun. So I went in, I watched it. Look, it's not the worst movie I've seen this year, but it's nowhere near a good movie. It really isn't. It has a lot of problems. So, look, let's get with the positives here. Cate Blanchett, she tries her absolute best to carry this film. She really does. And you can really tell that she's the standout performer in this movie. And I enjoyed her performance. And I think her character was the one you really cared about the most out of all of them. So I was more connected with her. Lillian, I believe her character was called. I was more connected with her and her journey, what she was doing. So, and that's a testament to Cate Blanchett and how good she is, because she did not have a lot to work with. I'll tell you that now. The script was not good. The dialogue was not good. But she made something that was horrible look decent. So that's a credit to her. I also really liked... Look, this was my big thing that I took away from this movie, was the design and the world itself in Borderlands. I thought was spectacular. To me, that was the strongest part of this film, was the design of the characters and the way that they created this world, this Pandora world, and gave us this Borderland world. To me, that was the strongest part. I felt like I was transported into a sci-fi sort of movie on another world. And it felt chaotic. It felt like Mad Max in a sci-fi world, which I thought was really good. And I was really intrigued with that. And then, they sprinkle some stuff with lore and backstory on certain aspects about alien races that ruled at certain points of time, what happened there. To me, that was the most interesting part of this film. And if they were to do more Borderland films, I would be on board, because I'm just so interested in that world itself. And the way that they designed everything, I thought was really well done. Really good. Like, there's obviously some CGI moments where it's kind of like, that doesn't look the greatest. But overall, I thought it looked pretty decent. And I really enjoyed the world building, everything like that. However, when you're making an action comedy, you've got to land a few things. And I thought some of the action did land. I really enjoyed some of the action in this film. I was like, whew, here we go. This is what I came to see. There were some great moments where there was hand-to-hand combat, gunfighting. That stuff I really enjoyed. But the humor side, the comedy aspect of this film, when I talk about flat, I talk about flat. No one in the audience laughed. No one laughed at any of the jokes. I think maybe one joke someone laughed at. Outside that, no one laughed at anything else. And it was just dead quiet. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, the jokes just weren't landing. This is how I viewed this movie when I walked out. I felt like this was an R-rated action comedy movie that was dialed right down to facilitate in getting that family audience. So they took away stuff that could have been really funny, could have been a bit more bloody and gory, really dive into that R-rating comedy side. And it felt like they doled it right down to try and get at more of a family orientated, to make it PG-13. And I felt like by doing that, some of the jokes, you're just sitting there and you're like, really? We're making jokes about piss now? Like, really? But none of the line deliveries were there. None of the timing was there. And nothing was set up for a moment where you're like laughing. And I feel like that's the real sad part of this movie, is the comedy did not land. If the comedy landed, I think a lot of people would love this film. Because when you're doing a comedy, you can sacrifice story and characters because you're making me laugh. Here, there's just no laughter in it. And it's a real shame, because I really wanted to laugh. And it was not there. And like I said, the dialogue itself, some of the conversation, just sitting there and you're like, this could have been written so much better. So much better. And I think that's another thing that lays into the comedy is there's no build up to the jokes. They're just kind of there and they feel out of place at times. So that was a bit, that hurt a little bit. Story-wise, it's pretty generic, the story-wise. You will pick up the twist and everything like that. I knew straight away. I was like, I know where this is going. And you can tell where it's going. And I think it's very predictable, not in a good way. Because sometimes you can have a predictable story. You know where it's going to go and what's going to happen. But the execution of that is really, really good. And, I predicted that, but it worked because it was all executed properly. Here, the execution was not there. So when it does happen, you're like, the payoff is not worth the journey that you went on to, which is a real shame. The villain itself, the villain is just so bland and generic and one-dimensional. Really is, man. I was sitting there, I was like, this is the big bad villain that we're supposed to be doing. And you can just tell 100% that this was like, there's so many tropes in this movie where you sit there and you're like, here we go. Another trope for this one, another trope for that, another trope for this. Which is just, it pains me when that stuff happens. I mean, you can do it, but you got to execute it. You got to execute it to the highest level, and it just was not executed in here either. So that was another shame. That really put the movie down for me as well. But, look, is Borderlands really, really bad? I don't think it's the worst movie I've seen, but it's not good. And I don't normally say, I normally want people to go and support the movies and stuff like that, but I feel like, I don't know if a lot of people are going to like this movie. I really don't think. I thought Kevin Hart was okay. Jamie Lee Curtis was okay. She seemed like she was phoning it in a bit. It's just very lackluster, this film. It really is. The action was good. I will give it that. I like the action and I like the world. I wouldn't mind seeing another Borderlands film again, but maybe with different characters in a different setting and a different story. I feel like there is something there, though. That's what I feel like. I feel like there is a story to be told there. And I think you just got to go. I think this is the type of movie where you just go R-rated comedy and you give us that. And I feel like if you did that, you might get a better movie. But then again, if you just write it better, you might get a better PG-13 movie as well. So, but let me know what you guys think of this movie. Did you guys enjoy Borderlands? Maybe you are the person. If you've played the games and you've seen the movie, let me know your thoughts as well. Smash it down in that comment section below. Smash that like button, click subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe and peace out.